Sup guys, today we're going to be working on VMDAC from Proving Grounds. As you can see, I've already conducted the nmap scan while I used RustScan, and we can see FTP is allowing anonymous login. We also have SSH and port 80, and we also have port 9443, which is HTTPS. So we have two web ports to look at. Let's try to see what's inside of FTP. So we log in as anonymous without a password, and we see this config.xml file. Let's get the config.xml file. Now we can cat the file. And there's nothing useful inside of this file, but it does tell us that there is a Jenkins website somewhere. So now let's analyze port 80 and port 9443. So we see Apache 2, and on here we see fast 5. We also see a admin dashboard, and in order to get past this admin dashboard, you can see I saved the payload here, but pretty much what you want to do is copy this name, and here we can use search exploit, and it tells us that there's a SQL injection authentication bypass for this particular web application. So we can Google that and put in exploit, look on exploit DB, and it tells us the proof of concept and the payload. So pretty much enter the username as admin and put the single quote or single quote 1, single quote equals single quote 1. And this is a common authentication bypass SQL injection payload that you can use. So let's go back here. And you also want to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the password and press sign in. In here, we see you can add your own user, and there's a upload image option for you. Put your phone number in, your username. We also see edit profile, edit photo, admin record. We see the admin password is 123. You can try to spray these credentials on 22 and 21, but you won't find anything useful there. We can go to leave management, and we see this. Don't forget password Ronnie Cash 001. We can copy that. And we also have a potential user, which is Malcolm. So we can take those notes. Password. Or we can put default password. And then alright. And we can also run Ferrex Buster on port 80. Now, in order to get a shell, so if you're on an exam, always spray credentials and gather a list of usernames. But this credential won't get you anywhere else. So let's go ahead and go to edit photo. So pretty much the exploit is within, it's a file upload exploit. I performed it here in the add user section. So we see that the website is hosting PHP files. So let's go to revshells.com and let's get a reverse shell. We're going to use the Ivan PHP shell, and let's set the shell to bash. And we need to set our IP address, and 22 is open, so let's use 22, 2180, or 9443. I'm just going to use 22, and let's copy this. Let's do subl ivan.php, paste that in there, save it. Now let's try to upload this file. And when you're doing OSCP, you want to look for anywhere that you can input data. So on here, on this website, the attack surface isn't really that large. It's not really many places where you can input a lot of data. And also the credentials that we found, they don't work anywhere else. Always when you find credentials, try them everywhere else and then move on from there. So let's go ahead and try this. And we're going to change this to all files. And we're going to try to upload this ivan.php. And let's turn on burp. Now let's put in some fake data. And then press create user. And we're going to get this error. Only JPEG, JPG, or WebP, GIF, and PNG files are allowed. So now we need to figure out what is filtering the type of file that is being uploaded to the web application. So we can go ahead and go to Hacktricks, and Hacktricks will show you different ways to bypass the file type filter. So here we can try different extension names for the file. We can try to add .jpeg after the file name. First we have to send it to repeater. Then find your file name and try those different file extensions, but this won't work. You can see the error. And you can also send this to intruder and then set a payload here and try to spray the different file extensions that are listed. And you can also try to change the way the file extension looks. So for example, P, and then do an uppercase H, P5, and try all of this. I try all of these, try URL encoding it. Those didn't work. So then I worked my way down here, bypass the content type. So that's another area that the web application firewall can check to see if the file is actually valid or not. So right here, the content type parameter. So we're going to try to change that to something that's related to a image. So let's try JPEG. And as you can see, it says user added successfully. So now let's see where the upload directory is. So just searching for upload, we can see there's a directory list that says upload image profile user PNG. Let's see if that is the uploads directory. So we can copy that. Let's go back to the website and paste it here. And as you can see, our ivan.php.jpg file is here, but I messed up, so let's go back and take away this JPEG and send it again. So we just want the PHP. And let's refresh this page and we see our ivan.php file. So now we need to set up our netcat listener. Import 22 and click on this. It's not working, so let's try to just add the file name here, ivan.php. Alright, so it looks like I was having some issues with my VPN. All I had to do was restart my VPN connection, and now I'm getting a reverse shell. And now we want to set our environment using Python 3, so we can verify Python 3 is on here, but which Python 3? And it's here. So let's go ahead and set it, and let's check this. Alright, so this is the same directory that we were in right here. So now we can look around. Let's check. It looks like we are www-data. So let's see which users are on the machine. So let's go to the home directory and let's do ls-lsa, and we see this VM deck. Let's see if we can access that users. Okay, we can't, so let's su VM deck. And earlier, we found a password and we took note of it. So let's go ahead and see if this password works. And it looks like it does. ID vmdac. Alright, let's try sudo -l. And it looks like we don't have any sudo permissions. We can check for suids and cron jobs. No cron jobs. Let's check for suids. And there is nothing special here. Let's check netstat-ano. And it looks like there's a local connection on port 8080. And let's go ahead and look at our mmap scan again. And it also looks like it's a locally running a database server as well. So let's try to set up Chisel in order to access this 8080 port from our Kali machine. And also we found that config file. Let's see. And this is a Jenkins file. So maybe Jenkins is running on port 8080. So we're going to Google Chisel and we're going to come to this GitHub repo, and you want to look for Linux AMD 64, download the GZ file, and then in order to unzip the GZ file you do gzip-d and then the file name, and then you will have two files, and this file you want to go ahead and copy over to your shell. So let's start a Python listener on port 80, and we're going to copy this. cd temp ls-lsa. Right, now we do wget http, and now we put in our ton0 address. And then we put the file name. Let's see if it gets it, and it does. All right. Now we need to start our chisel server, and we're gonna set our chisel server to port 80. So I'm gonna use port 80 because port 80 is open on the nmap scan. So this is pretty much our reverse shell. So let's go ahead and start that. And we're gonna use this chisel client to connect back to our Kali machine. And let's do chmod just in case. All right. And now we run the chisel agent and client. This is our ton0 address, and this is the port that we're connecting back to on Kali, which is port 80. And this R port, this is the port that we will be connecting to on our Kali machine. And we want to use a open port for the firewall rules. Since we aren't root, we can't see specifically what the firewall rules are, but we do have access to the nmap scan, and this 9443 port is open on nmap, so we're going to use that. And then this is the localhost that we're on now, so our shell machine, and then this is the port that we want to redirect back to our Kali machine. And then we can use the AND symbol in order to background the process. So let's go ahead and run that. And as you can see, it says it's connected. And check back on our listener, and we see we have a connection. So let's go ahead and go over here. Go to localhost and 9443. And as you can see, this Jenkins website loads. So we can go ahead and run Ferrix Buster to see if there are any directories that we can fuzz. So let's do Ferrix Buster. Then we're going to use big.txt. Going to replace this. And let's let that run. One directory that showed up was computer. And once I clicked on computer, down here at the bottom right corner, we can see it shows a version number, Jenkins 2.401.2. I was not able to find a specific exploit for this version, but I was able to find a exploit for Jenkins 2.4 on ExploitDB. Unfortunately, this particular exploit did not work, so I copied this and I googled this, and I also put GitHub at the end. The first one that showed up, it only has 3 stars, so I was a little skeptical. Didn't run this one, so I went back and I tried this one. This one has 23 stars, so a little bit more. And let's go ahead and copy this. So pretty much this exploit will read any file that you specify for it to read. So in the example, it will spit out the Etsy password file. So what we want to do is we need to read the file that's on the sign-in login page. So we need to read this file that contains the administrator password. So let's go ahead and copy this script, supple exploit.py, paste that in there, and there's nothing for us to change here. Let's save it. Let's do python exploit.py -h. Alright, so we need to set the URL to -u, and then we put localhost 9443 as the port. Let's run it. Now it's asking for a file, so let's try Etsy password. And as you can see, it prints out the Etsy password file. So let's go ahead and copy this. Paste that in there. And this password shows up. Copy that. And paste that in there. Alright, so we're finally logged in. And if we go back and check our FrexBuster scan, there is a directory that shows the script directory, which is _script. And the script directory is how we get a reverse shell on a Jenkins machine. So right here we can see _script. Let's go ahead and click on that. Alright, the web page finally loaded. And I'm going to use this reverse shell script from Hack the Box Academy. And I need to change the IP address. So 192.168.45.178. And let's change the port to 22. Let's set the reverse shell. I'll wrap 22. And let's press run. I was having some technical difficulties, but I went ahead and restarted my Kali machine, and I used port 8881. And as you can see, I was able to get a reverse shell. And I am root. Now we can go to root and ls-lsa, and we now have the proof.txt. Thanks for watching.